Okay.
Okay, take three. What is a new podcast without a shit ton of technology issues?
I literally, I am not an IT gal, and this has been the worst hour of my life.
I'm not an IT gal either, but I've just been here for the ride, I think.
But you know what? It's all worth it. Because I would rather struggle for an hour and then just get to yap with you
Yeah. I mean,
than
we're just practicing at this point. We're practicing for a perfect podcast because that's what our 8 viewers deserve.
they do. Our 8 viewers deserve a perfect podcast. And you know what? That's what we're going to try to give them today,
Right now.
right now. Um, speaking of our followers, how have you been dealing with your success?
I just put another down payment on my third mansion. I am swatting away men like flies. And I don't know. I just I have to go into places with a ball cap and a sunglasses, and hopefully nobody notices me. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, going full Joe Goldberg. Yeah,
full full joke or
blah, 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 blah.
whatever his.
Yeah. I ever since we published the first episode, I it's been really difficult actually. I'm
So
sorry.
sorry.
I'm trying not to get emotional.
Please don't. Yeah, but I'm so sorry to hear about that.
It's been a struggle. I've taken a step back from social media because it's just been like nonstop
Oh, I bet.
notifications.
Oh, I bet.
And then even in real life, I mean, I'm in a totally different city than like where I was 6 months ago. And even now, walking down the street, people are stopping me, asking me like the most ridiculous questions, like, ma'am, how do I get to Mount Rainier? And I mean,
You're like,
it's
girl, it's right there.
at this point, it's getting a little out of hand. Like, if you want a
Right.
picture, just ask. I'm nice. I
You're
remember my
so
roots.
approachable. You're
Yeah,
so approachable.
yeah.
Like maybe they're
I remember the
maybe
little
they're a little
people.
confused because it's foggy and they can't see the giant mountain in the sky view. But I think they just need to say, "Hey, Courtney,
Yeah,
can I talk to you?" And you'd say, "Yes, of course. Do you want my
yeah,
shirt off the back too? Do you want me to feed you? Do you want me to ride
yeah.
home?" Because you
Do,
do all of that.
do you want me to baby bird you, chew your food up, and spit it into your mouth? Because I will.
You will?
For you, anything. No, it's been on a totally serious note. I cannot believe that we have 8 people who care enough about us to hit follow in Spotify. That is absolutely crazy.
And take an
Um,
hour out of their day and just listen to our opinions. And not only do that, but tell us what they thought and tell us,
yeah,
to yeah, and even the people that haven't listened yet, because I know that there are some people that haven't listened because they hadn't seen the Night House yet, or they, they wanted to see the movie before watching or whatever, but they've engaged with our social media. They've, congrats us. They've hyped us up a little bit too. So even the people that aren't a part of the 8 are still doing some great things for us as
yeah.
well.
People who are following our Instagram and commenting on our video, and people who are, giving us feedback is we love feedback.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I don't think there's a single thing that anybody could say that we would be like, not doing that. But, like, I think that's been so great. I've said this to you before. 8 people doesn't feel like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but imagine being in a living room with 8 other people and you're telling the story, and
Right.
that's a big audience for a living room. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So
And when Courtney said she said this to me before, it was on take 2 before technology blew up.
I'm obviously not a
No, but
performer.
no, but for real, like just imagine those times where you said a joke or something and the entire room laughed and you're like, wow,
Yeah,
like
like
I'm just so cool or whatever. That's what it feels like, oh no, and also have 2 friends that have asked to be guest on the podcast, and I know you had a couple as
yeah,
well.
yeah, and I think that would be so fun. I feel like that would be it would almost make, you know, the storytelling of it all so much more. Um, like words are hard today, but it would just make it feel so much more like a community, and I would love that.
Yeah, it would broaden a few more perspectives and, open up a
Yes,
little bit more of it, like even more discourse. Like just imagine the times that both of us been talking to an additional person, like our third at the moment. We just have a lot more to like bounce off of, and
right.
a lot more ideas and a lot more reactions to things and stuff. It'd be really
Yes.
fun. I guess we should let them on the podcast if that's cool with you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it would, I feel like it would absolutely change their lives. Like,
Right. It'd be like charity. It's like philanthropy. Like we're
yeah,
giving back.
yes, yeah. I think that it would be a total, like, we need to prepare them for, like, blowing up. On social media, in life, um,
Not
because
like
I'm
actually
getting,
blowing up, but like on
right,
social
like,
media.
yeah, like spontaneous combustion, no, but social combustion, yeah, you know,
For sure.
um, because they're gonna get at least 8 more followers, and that's just gonna blow their minds, dude.
Or
It's
7,
gonna
because I
be,
imagine one of them is the 8.
yeah, yeah. There's no way that they're not following us, and they're like, "Hey, I want to be on your podcast." Although, maybe, we are so famous that it's
We are just so
possible
popular.
people. They're so like everyone knows their names. It's crazy.
I can't
Um,
believe we made a lot of people find out what the movie Clue is, in the movie Night House. I'm so
like
happy.
it's crazy.
We
Like
brought those movies on the map.
we're probably gonna cause a resurgence of like popularity of those movies. People are gonna
Right.
be like buying them to watch them and doing their own reviews. I mean, it's gonna be
Rebecca
crazy.
Hall is going to call me and be like, "Thank you so much for boosting my movie." And I'd be like,
Hmm.
"Thank you. Go do another one.
Yeah, her royalties just went up a lot.
Let's go to France, baby."
Uh-huh. Please take me with you.
Please, for the love of God.
Yeah, so I uh, these movies are going to be so much fun to talk about. So I guess just to give kind of a brief, like Shane said, we've done this 3 times, so I have no idea what I said in the last 10 minutes in regards to the last part. um, so this episode, we're talking about the whale, and we're talking about motocross, which, as Shane said on his Instagram story, they are so similar. It felt like I was watching
So,
the same movie. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I mean, I really couldn't tell the difference between Brendan Fraser and the main character of motocross. Her name is
Yeah,
escaping
no,
me.
same.
Alana Austin. Yeah.
Same. Like when I was watching this, I was like, wait, am I watching the Disney Channel original movie? Or am I watching a really complex layered onion of a movie
Yeah.
that deserves an Academy Award
Yeah.
for Best Drama?
Because I can't tell the difference.
I cannot tell the difference either.
Mm-mm. No idea. Um, I
No,
do.
but on a real, these movies are fantastically different.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm happy that we picked both of them to be on the same week because of how different they are, but also because there's really deep-rooted messages in both.
Right.
Even though one is just a Disney Channel original movie and the other one is supposed to be a grandiose movie, there's really, really important messages in both. And I think they're messages about today. And one came from Motocrossed from what, 1999 or 1998 or something like that?
Yeah. 2001.
2001, and then the other came from the Whale 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the things that you were seeing in 2001, not much has changed. Things have changed. Things have gotten better, but things have not changed either.
Right.
It's still speaking to things we're going through today. So I can't wait to get into all of that.
I know. I know. And I think so. Last episode, uh, we jumped into Clue first. So that was the
Mhm.
movie I portrayed to you. If you're open to it, I think we should swap and like each week, uh,
Okay.
you know, flip flop a little bit. Um, So if you're cool with it, I want to talk about the whale first because I have a lot to say, Shane.
Oh, baby girl, same here. I actually did my notes this week.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of
Lots
that.
lots to say, but I think it kind of works out this week too because the whale is so heavy,
Yes.
pun intended, I guess. But the motocross will be a really nice palate cleanser afterwards. So I think that works perfectly. I think we should do
I
that.
agree. Yeah, I agree. First order of business, do you hate me or something? Because this movie crushed me.
Mm. That
Mhm.
might have been a little bit of a vendetta, but at the same time, no. Uh, this movie crushed me to my core when I first saw it in theaters. I left Alamo Drafthouse Sophomore sobbing.
Mhm.
And then I sobbed this time too. I think I sent you a video of
You
that.
did.
Um,
You did.
no, this movie is soul crushing. I feel like if you don't get soul crushed during this movie, you are the psychopath.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I think this movie, from beginning to end, had moments that I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can finish this movie. So I'm just going to get into it a little bit. So, first of all, The Whale, it was released in 2022. It was directed by Darren Aronofsky, written by Samuel D. Hunter, who originally wrote it as a play. Um, don't ask me if it was ever a play. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if it was ever like put on as a play, but I do know that it was written as a play.
No,
And
I'm
much of
glad
it
that you
is
said that though,
filmed.
because I have some thoughts about that for later.
Okay, cool. I do appreciate that it feels so similarly to last episode. It felt very theater-esque, and
Mhm.
this felt like a one-act play with one set. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
performed in a black box.
beautiful. Yes, yeah. Um, so it's starring Brendan Fraser, who we'll talk about Brendan in a little bit. Um, Sadie Sink, who is also phenomenal, Hong Chow, Ty Simpkins, and Samantha Morton. The cast itself is really all of them are phenomenal.
Yeah,
Brendan Fraser won an Oscar for this movie for Best Actor. Um,
differently so.
they won Best Makeup and Hair in they won an Oscar for that, I believe.
Wow.
If I'm misspeaking anyone who's listening, just pretend I'm not. But so they won awards at the Oscars. They also won, or they were nominated for Adapted Screenplay, Best Makeup and Hair, and Best Supporting Actress at the British Academy Film Awards. And then also, uh, Hong Chow was nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress.
Oh,
So
you should have won.
she should have won. She was amazing. She made me cry. I kind of didn't like her for a moment, but we'll talk about
Mm.
that.
Mm.
I'm going to give a 1 minute synopsis because I think the problem is I'm trying to give an entire uh, like plot of this story, and you just need to watch it. I don't need to sit here and tell you about it. You just need to go and watch this movie.
Yeah,
And
no.
if you hadn't watched it,
Turn us off and go watch it if you haven't.
yes, because spoilers are coming for both movies. Spoilers are coming. Um, so 1 minute synopsis. So Brendan Fraser plays a professor who teaches virtual courses online. He doesn't show his students himself because he's a 600-pound man who doesn't leave his home. He has an in-home nurse who takes care of him, who
Mhm.
turns out to be his best friend, but also, spoiler alert, his late boyfriend's sister is
Yeah.
also his nurse. So there's a lot of like connecting threads between the two of them. Charlie, Brendan Fraser's character, used to be married to someone named Mary. They had a daughter together named Ellie, and they split once he started seeing Alan, his late boyfriend. And he hasn't seen Ellie since she was like 8 or 9. And at this point, she's like 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
So the whole movie is him trying to reconnect with Ellie, who is a freaking asshole.
She's such a fucking ass.
I mean, she like fat shames him. She posts pictures of him on Facebook and talks about how disgusting he is, and I mean,
She just
she puts,
exploits anybody in her radius.
yes, she puts Ambien, she crushes up Ambien and puts it in his food so that he'll go to sleep for a little bit. Like,
So she
she's
can smoke in
wild.
his apartment.
Yes, yeah. So she can like record something that the Mormon missionary Thomas can, like, she can use it against him in the future. Anyway, she's absolutely crazy. Um, but so there's a really beautiful moment in the beginning when Ellie and Charlie are starting to reconnect, where she tells him, stand up and walk over to me, because he uses a walker or a wheelchair. He tries so hard and he unfortunately falls, and hurts himself, and Ellie leaves. Um, that was the first moment that I was like, I don't know if I can watch this movie. You know, like, I don't know if I can finish this movie. I think I'm going to have to. There was a moment where I paused it and I was like, I think I'm just going to have to read the plot on Wikipedia and pretend like I watched it.
Oh my gosh.
It was that bad. The movie was great. It was the feelings I was getting,
It was the heaviness,
in the
yeah.
moment. Yes. I felt like I had a whale on my chest. Okay. That's how I felt. Um, so, anyway, so it all kind of the whole story starts to unfurl, and it's revealed that Liz, the nurse, is Alan's sister, and she's taking care of Charlie, who is also in congestive heart failure, but she's also enabling him. She's giving him, 2 foot-long Subway sandwiches to eat for dinner. She's like watching as he eats 2 large pizzas by himself, and like doesn't try to help him with his binge eating. And maybe because she feels like he's too far gone and he's not going to listen to me, like maybe there's that element to it. But maybe I'm thinking as me, like I just couldn't sit and watch my friend and, family at this point, your family.
Yeah.
I couldn't sit and watch you kill yourself like that.
Yeah.
So there was a moment that I was like, oh, Liz, bye. Like, you're pissing me off.
Be gone, Liz.
Yeah. And so anyway, at the end, it all comes out that, Ellie and Charlie are talking. Mary comes and talks to Charlie and has a really beautiful reconnection as well. Of course, I think she leaves angry, because he's also just like letting himself die. But then Ellie comes back. Actually, I want to talk about that separate. I'll be the first to say that, like, first of all, obesity is like such a problem in the US.
Yeah.
So many people suffer with the disease of obesity, and it is a disease. And if you're listening to this and you disagree with me, fuck off. I don't need you as a follower. Okay.
7 followers now. Thank you.
um, um, as someone who has struggled with obesity in my own personal life, I've had family members who have struggled with obesity, friends who have struggled with it. It was so hard to watch this movie because like it felt like I was just watching someone that I cared about eat their way into their grave.
Yeah.
And I think this movie is supposed to be like that. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable, but not because you're watching a fat man. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable because there's so much grief that Charlie was unable to process because he was shrouded in shame for even being in a gay marriage or a gay relationship.
Yeah.
So there's so much to unpack with this movie, but it was so lovely to watch and just like stop. Like I wish I would have filmed myself sobbing because I don't think I've ever cried like that.
It's a horrendously powerful movie that way. Like
Yeah.
like you said, like there's just so much to unpack. But I think you have named the 2 biggest thematic elements about this movie, which is grief and shame. And the way that they manifest that throughout the movie within not only just Charlie's character, but his supporting characters. And then the way that they also do some like physicality metaphors is really, really cool as well. Just with the entire way that the way that they portray him being severely overweight, and having the movie be titled The Whale, you kind of can, it's not going to take you too long to think, what are they talking about,
Right.
But the way that they integrate Moby Dick into the story as well, being the story that the essay that calms him down is about, that the way he brings up that essay a lot kind of brings up Moby Dick a lot too, which I don't know if you've read Moby Dick or are familiar with it or whatever. It does talk a lot to this movie as well.
Oh, okay.
This movie has a lot of elements from Moby Dick that kind of fall into the adaptation of the film. It's not about Moby Dick,
Right.
but like there's definitely some parallels you can bring from it. And it's all about how each character is the embodiment of shame or grief within Charlie's life, and how their shame and their grief talks to Charlie's,
Right.
and how all of that kind of plays together. But we'll get to this, I guess, as we continue talking. I don't think the whale is Charlie.
Okay. Okay. So that has me perplexed. And really, okay. So you don't think that Charlie's the whale?
No.
It's I need some time to process that, I think. So the end of the movie, throughout the whole movie, I want to talk about the essay a little bit.
Okay.
So in the movie, every time he feels like he's about to go, he feels like he's about to pass on. He either reads an essay to himself or he has someone else read this essay to him. And the entire movie, I thought that it was Alan's essay. And it turns out that it's Ellie's essay that she wrote in like 5th grade about Moby Dick. First of all, I've never even read Moby Dick. And are you Matilda? I'm convinced Ellie is Matilda.
She's like an 11-year-old that has not only read Moby Dick, but has written like a high school level essay about it. Like,
yeah. And the essay, and I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately, but the essay is basically saying, Ishmael. So he's introduced, he's sharing a bed with another man, and he talks about this whale for several chapters. But I think what he's actually doing is he's distracting us from his grief or something like that. And so this whole time I'm thinking Alan wrote it and that's what made Charlie fall in love with him. But it's actually Ellie's who wrote it. And he at the end of the movie, he knows that he's about to go, he's about to pass on from congestive heart failure, and he makes her read it to him. That scene.
I just got chills, actually. Actually just got chills.
So as Ellie is reading this essay to him, she's tearing up. It's the first time that you see her as anything other than an asshole. And she's starting to tear up, and he stands up from the couch and takes several steps closer to her. And she's like not stopping reading. I think I would like fall over if that happened to me. But he's coming towards her, and then all of a sudden he's engulfed in a bright white light, and he kind of looks up at the sky, and then the movie is just over.
And I stayed queer for the credits this time. And the credits don't, it doesn't have a credits soundtrack. It's just noisescapes of the ocean, like being at the beach, which is how he described the afterlife to be. Like just full of light and at the beach with Alan. And you kind of see the wave hit his foot, and then the movie ends, and the credits is just the sounds of beach. So it's like he died, and we're the audience as we sit there weeping because that just like took our soul out of our throat and curb stomped it. We get to hear what Charlie's afterlife sounds like.
Yeah.
Like we know that we're sitting there knowing that he has moved on.
Hmm. And it's very it can be left up to interpretation if that actually if him standing up and walking to Ellie actually happened, or if it was like a hallucination on, as he's passing. Did he actually do that? It's really left up to interpretation. And I love movies like that
Me
end like
too.
that.
I'm really glad that you brought that up actually, because that's one of the bullet points that I had was the ending theory. Like, did Charlie stand up at the end?
Yeah.
Because, and I feel like every movie that gives you the little hint that it was a delusion, I think that that's the director saying, this is a delusion.
Hmm.
This is a delusion. Because why else put it in other than the fact to leave your audience confused and like have like a interpretive ending or whatever? That's powerful in its own right. But he started getting death delirious while it was just him and Liz there,
Hmm.
because he started talking about Ellie, and then Liz realizes that he's not really talking to her, he's just talking, and it's not kind of making sense anymore. Which, I mean, I've always heard that when you die, your brain stays active for 7 minutes and like causes us not to like experience the death. It like puts us into something else, which, a lot of people say like that could be the heaven that a lot of people say that they see near death or experience or whatever. But during those times, it's always talked about how you become delirious. You
Right.
become confused. There's like confusion and stuff like that. And so I think that started while Liz was there, and that kind of leaves our interpretation though. Like, did Ellie even come?
Yeah. Yeah. Did Ellie even come? Did he switch her paper with her fifth grade paper? Like did Mary even come? Did they get to
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
like what actually happened at the end? Was he by himself? Like there's so many questions that it's all left up to interpretation, that none of that could have happened. It could have
right.
been that all of this, because the thing that I noticed kind of halfway through the movie is I'm not good at seeing like the big picture the first time around, but something that happened that I caught on to was they were counting down his days. They would
Mhm.
say, Monday, Tuesday, um, and Liz kept saying, like she said it to the missionary, he'll be gone by the end of the week. He'll be gone by the weekend. So
Yeah.
as we're counting down, it's Monday, it's Tuesday, it's Wednesday. So like, was he actually alone? Like, so it's such a beautiful story, and I would not change a thing about it. There's not one single thing that I would change.
Right.
Even like the unsettling scenes where you almost don't want to watch, like at one moment or in a few scenes, kind of midway through the movie, he asked the missionary when they first met, "Do you find me disgusting?" And the missionary was like, "No, you're a son of God, blah blah blah."
Mhm.
And then halfway through the movie, he asks again, and he's kind of pestering, like, "No, tell me I disgust you. Tell me that I make you sick." And the missionary finally breaks and says, "Yeah, you're disgusting." And he makes the missionary leave. His name's Thomas. I keep calling him the missionary because it's fun. But he makes him leave, and he has the binge eating that he does. It's like it's a severe binge eating episode.
I think
Um,
that episode is what ends up killing him, honestly.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
because he's eating everything he can find. He gets sick to his stomach because he's obviously been eating so much at one time. He sends an email to his students that are like, "Fuck this course, this means nothing.
Yeah,
Just
fuck
tell
this
me
course,
something
fuck these
honest."
assignments. Yeah, tell me something
Yeah,
honest. Yeah.
yeah. Because I think he knows, like, I'm about to die, and like what we're doing doesn't even really matter. Um, I just need you to write some. If you want to be a writer and write something real.
Mm.
And they send him a bunch of stuff, and he winds up showing himself on camera to his students. And I think like that was also a hard scene for me to watch, because you can see like people like their phones come into view like this and they start taking pictures,
Mm.
and it grosses me out how real that is.
Yeah.
That like obesity is not, it's, people don't see it as a disease, they see it as a spectacle. Oh, there's my
Yeah.
500
Yeah.
pound life, the 1,000 pound sisters. People want to watch them suffer, and that's not
Hmm.
okay.
No.
It's not okay.
And it's like a lack of understanding and kind of education around what being fat is. Like, it's not just, like there's a saying, I love you like a fat boy loves cake or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because you're fat doesn't mean you eat a lot. It doesn't mean that
Mm-hmm.
you eat unhealthily. It doesn't mean that you don't work out. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything other than the fact that you are overweight.
Yeah.
Like,
The fat
there's so
phobia
many,
of it all. Yeah.
yeah, there's just so many reasons and causes and just so many, I guess, there's just so many things under the umbrella of life that can cause somebody to be overweight. And I think this movie shows a great way of like just one of those avenues, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't really have as much as this movie is about his body, it's really not about weight. Like, there's not really any sort of like um education about what being overweight is or whatever. It's just about a character who's currently dealing with being severely overweight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think the movie like it does go into messaging kind of like how you were reacting to Liz earlier. I kind of thought I've reacted to Liz very similarly, where she's an enabler. She's the one, she's basically his dealer to his drug. Like, she's the one that goes out and gets him an exorbitant amount of food, and brings it to him. She allows him to eat it, like all of it or whatever. And it's not that like all of that falls on her. Like, she's not in control of Charlie. Charlie's the only one in control of Charlie. But Charlie's control reaches a certain limit, and she helps him get it past that limit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
In her forms of enabling. But I would say still, though, the movie isn't so much about the education of being overweight. It's more so the education of grief and shame and how it can cause you to become
Mm-hmm.
overweight, more so than
Yeah.
anything.
Because that's the thing. You can tell that he is just so depressed and lonely, because even, I mean, Ellie comes at one point and makes him a sandwich, and she says, but I'm only making you one. It's not going to have any mayo on it, and he eats that sandwich and he's thankful for it. And I think that there's something to be said about if he would have had someone like Ellie kind of be with him all the time,
Mm-hmm.
He probably wouldn't feel the urge to binge like he would when he's alone.
Yeah, I would even say that he would become better.
Yeah.
Then, because I mean, yes, she did put drugs in that sandwich that caused him to fall asleep, but he
Yeah.
didn't finish that sandwich. I
Yeah.
think that was a very subtle hint that the thing that he's asking everybody to do, which is very hypocritical, by the way, I will say, the one thing he's asking for this entire movie is for something honest. And
Mhm.
she is the only honest character in the entire movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like Liz is a pretty honest character, but she has her moments. Like, everybody has something that they're hiding, or something that they're ashamed of. And whereas Ellie has like a pocketbook of things that she could be ashamed of. She's
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
of any of them. She stands on what she's done
Yeah.
at all times.
Yeah.
And just, I think that subtle moment, even though he was drugged and he, falls asleep and loses consciousness or whatever, that little, like, just the unfinished sandwich on his chest or whatever is like a subtle hint of like her presence being there is taking him away from his binging
Mhm.
and his cycle of doom that he stirs in.
Yeah.
Because she's the only thing he cares
Yeah.
about at the moment. And so he finds the love, he finds the honesty, he finds the connection, and he finds himself within Ellie. and that brings him out of all of those bad habits.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that. And even I think that he appreciates her honesty because there's a moment in the end of the movie where Mary, Melly, Ellie's mom, uh, says she's evil, like she is an evil person, and shows her Facebook to Charlie, and it's a picture that she had taken of him, and the caption is, "It'll be a grease fire in hell when this man dies."
Mhm.
And I think Charlie's response is something like, "Well, she's a great writer."
Yeah, and then his mom's like, "That's what you got from it?" Like,
Yeah, yeah. And so, like, he obviously that's his daughter, and he loves her so much. And I think I would, I mean, I would probably like beat my kid up if they said something about me like that. But um, it's just like really sweet that he sees, yeah, like there probably will be,
yeah,
like if there is a hell and I go to hell for sure, because I'm huge. Like he knows, he is aware of the situation, and he doesn't really get ashamed at all, which is, I think he's just completely um like he understands his situation, and he's
right.
sort of succumbed to what's going to happen eventually.
There's two thoughts that spur from just that whole thing. First one is that's a good indicator of one of the things that Mary goes through. That kind of supports Charlie's story, whereas Mary is so ashamed and has so much shame with how she's raised Ellie that's why she's kept Ellie away from Charlie this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie thinks that she's kept Ellie away from him the entire time because not only is he gay, but he's lost his way. He doesn't leave his home anymore. He's unhealthy or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And when she sees him for the first time, she's like, I knew it was bad, but it's horrible now. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? But in Charlie's world, that's why they've been away this entire time. But in reality, it was because she didn't want Charlie to be like, you're a bad mom, you know? And they forgive each other for both of those things so instantly. And you see that same forgiveness with Thomas's character, who is so up in arms about how he stole all this money from the church. He can't talk to his family ever again. He can't talk to the church ever again. He can't ever go home ever again. Blah 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 blah. Ellie posts the thing on her Facebook and exploits him,
Mm-hmm.
blackmails him or whatever, and the church and his family immediately forgive
Mm-hmm.
him. So it's like all of these things that we're so ashamed of that we have to guard and keep from everybody and protect from everybody. Nobody can ever know that is the things that are forgiven just immediately.
Right.
But the way that you act, or I guess the other ways you act towards each other, like the abandonment, the allowing your grief to take over, being a missionary, being an enabler, just all of these different things that they're not apologizing for, that they're not hiding. Those are the things that are actually being hung up on by the other characters.
Right.
Like that's the things that the other characters actually have a huge problem
Mm-hmm.
with. So I really thought that was a beautiful um, way that all the supporting characters, shames and guilts or whatever, really emphasize all of Charlie's shames and guilts, and it's really nothing that he's carrying, but they're all doing the same thing. Like, and he thinks that he's this disgusting thing. Well, what does grief make you feel like? It makes you feel very disgusting, or not
Yeah.
grief, guilt. Like guilt makes you feel super disgusting or whatever, and that kind of, I think, really makes one of the lines he says at the very end when he's dying. People are incapable of not care, or people are incapable of not caring. People are awesome. And I think it's that guilt, that grief, that shame that you have about things is proof that you care
Mm-hmm.
about something. And it proves that you are somebody that is an awesome person, even if he did something bad or something that people could not like or whatever. The fact that you care about it and regret it means that you learned, and it means that you are capable
Yeah.
of caring. Um, and then the second thing that made me think of was you're talking about how his mom was saying all these bad things about Ellie, and then showed him what she posted on her Facebook or whatever, and there's a grease fire in hell or whatever. That's like a very strong body moment where it's like making a comment about how fat and greasy his body is, that it'd be so combustible in hell and whatever. Well, that's kind of ties back to what I think about like the title The Whale. Even though I don't think The Whale is about Charlie, I think The Whale does talk about his body a lot. And the whales produce a lot of oil. That's why we used to go whaling and kill whales, because we could use a lot of bits of their body, but specifically we could use that for oil, which is super combustible, But whales also are the mammal, maybe even just animal in general, that have the biggest hearts on the planet. And what is Charlie? He's in congestive heart failure, which means that your heart swells up humongously. But it also, I think, is having a little bit of a Grinch metaphor, where it's notating how big of a heart Charlie has as a character, and how he just never sees the negativity in anything and always sees the positivity in everything, and always sees the love in everything. To the point where he thinks people think that he's disgusting, when he's kind of like the nicest person in a lot of people's lives to them. Like, he's Liz's rock. He would have continued to be Mary's rock. He would have continued to be Ellie's rock had he not found Alan, and really what's the biggest thing that plagues Charlie's life? The fact that he couldn't save Alan, and his huge heart and his huge love couldn't save Alan, so therefore he's not worth anything, I guess.
Yeah, there's so many heavy parts to this, but yeah, I think it all comes down to, as you're watching the movie, like you said, everyone has those things to hold on to and have sort of shrouded in shame. And Charlie just continuously forgives people. Other people are forgiving each other. The only person kind of until the end who is still sort of needing forgiveness is Ellie. And really, I mean, she's been forgiven. She needs forgiveness in the sense that she needs to forgive her mom. She needs to forgive her dad. And ultimately, she needs to forgive herself for being such a fucking asshole. Right? Honestly, side note, I love Sadie Sink, and this movie is the reason why I know that she is going to go so far, because the way that I hated Ellie for like 86% of this movie. And I know like Sadie Sink is probably a really great human. But for her to make me feel like if I saw her in the streets, it'd be on sight.
You just tug her by the back of the hair and just start wailing.
Yeah. Yeah. And this character specifically, that is not a threat to Sadie Sink, to be fair. But phenomenal acting, and then the ending being so, it felt like she knew I have been forgiven and I forgive him too. It's not his fault that he fell in love with someone else and had to go be with that person. It's not my mom's fault that she had to separate us because she couldn't see the man that she loved be with another man. And it's not my fault that all of that happened, because how could I have ever been at fault? Because I was 8 or 9.
Right.
So I want to just very quickly, do you think someone else is the whale?
Yes.
Who?
Ellie. Okay, so Ellie is definitely the whale in my opinion.
Okay.
So okay, Moby Dick, the novel by Melvin Herville, I think. Melvin
Herman Melville. You had it backwards.
That guy. So the Moby Dick, it's about this power-hungry captain trying to find the whale that mauled him. It took his leg, and you go through the novel through Ishmael's eyes, which is a new boatsman on the boat or whatever. And him and a Native American character named Quinpeg,
Uh,
Quepeg.
Queeg,
Um,
Queequeg is it.
that
That's
that
what
one.
Ellie's essay says. I have it up if we want to read it later.
Okay. They quickly discover that like Captain Ahab is crazy, and they notate that a lot, and so they go on this like journey of revenge for somebody else when they know that he's crazy or whatever, but they still do it. And then what it ends up is they do this like three-day battle with Moby Dick, um, and Moby Dick ends up causing their ship to just be destroyed into tatters, and everyone dies except for Ishmael, who is saved by another people, or another boat. And so I think not Sadie, I think Ellie is the whale, because the entire book of Moby Dick is told through the perspective, and it's about all of these characters, but the entire book is about the whale. You know, like, yes, we're following these characters, all the dramas on this boat or whatever, and then at the end we get, the crew's battle with Moby Dick or whatever. Even so, and Moby's not like a character the entire book is about him. And same with this movie. The entire movie is through Charlie's life and all of the people coming into his life or whatever. But everything he's doing, including all the money he's not giving to Liz or himself, but to Ellie, all of the sneaking around behind his ex-wife's back so he can see Ellie, the thing that calms him down whenever he's having a heart attack, which is actually a double thing. It calms him down, but it's also, he says, the thing that he wants to hear, the last thing he wants to hear, being alive. So if he's dying, he wants that to be read to him, so that's the last thing he hears. So like everything is about Ellie. And what it is also his journey to rekindle his relationship with Ellie, and all of the grief that he left behind with Alan has caused him to come into this cycle of destruction. His abandoning Ellie and not being allowed to be near her was what caused him to be mauled, I guess. So like you could see that as like a maul to the spirit. So like if you want to look at it like Captain Ahab losing his leg to Moby Dick, not being able to see Ellie mauled him. And so he's on this journey of not revenge, but like he wants to like set it right, and it all consumes him, to the point where everyone around him is seeing that this is maybe not the best idea ever, or it's going to cause more hurt, or it's going to do this, or it's going to do that. But he does not care. He just keeps going. And that's what gets him to the end, is his Moby Dick, his daughter, like the whale. So that's what I mean. Like, I think like the whale is about Charlie, but I think the whale is Ellie. And I think the movie is really about her.
Yeah. Oh. I could honestly, reading this letter or this essay back, I could see that, because the end of it says, I felt saddest of all when I read the boring chapters that were only descriptions of whales, because I knew that the author was just trying to save us from his own sad story just for a little while. So it was like, he knew he was going to die. This was his sad story. So let's fill it with whales, Ellie.
Yeah, and like
so that I can be distracted. Yeah.
The book will like, I think like it has chapters where it's just literally the biology of a whale. And like if you read it, you're like, oh, okay, or whatever. But like that's such a good take. Like it is a sad story. Everyone dies except for Moby Dick and Ishmael.
Yeah.
This entire crew lost their life to a mad captain on the pursuit of revenge, only to not be able to get said revenge. And like we're gonna delay that a little bit. And I mean, it has a lot of biblical, metaphors as well in the book or whatever. So it is kind of a sad story, but like I think that's the same with the whale. Like we get all of Charlie's story to distract us from the sadness, even though it's still fucking sad.
Yeah.
But like just distract us from what's going to end up at the end, where Ellie has to turn her back on the anger and face her sadness.
Yeah. It's also a really beautiful visual representation and symbolism because at the end so the whole movie is in Charlie's dark ass apartment. All the windows are closed and like boarded up. He opens the window sometimes and there's like a plate to feed birds, and that's pretty much the only light that comes in. But at the end, it shows Ellie standing in the doorway. The sun is like beaming in from behind her, and everything is dark around Charlie except for what's coming in from the door behind Ellie. And the symbolism of it is like, this, you can go peacefully now because now you've, rekindled this relationship with Ellie. There's forgiveness there. And so it's almost like the light at the end of the tunnel, and
Exactly.
like the symbolism in the movie, the visual symbolism is phenomenal.
And much like you said earlier about like the countdown of the days, like the movie also got brighter. And
yeah,
the way Charlie described his death was he'd become light. Everything would become light. And as the movie gets brighter, he gets closer to death. And then the last day, I think that's his last morning. I think it was like a morning, maybe it was afternoon, but it seemed very morning to me.
Yeah.
He has, that's the brightest scene in the entire movie, which is we kind of touched on it earlier, and we delayed it to later, so later's now. That's kind of another way that it made the movie feel like a play, was because of how dark the outside was. It kind of felt like a black box. You're watching a black box production. And like when the pizza man comes by, he comes by like 3 or 4 times during the movie until the last scene. He's just a silhouette in the windows, and they have like lines through the wall or whatever. And so like very much akin to theater, it'd be like an offstage actor talking into one of the offstage mics to like have that dialogue, and then they'd have like shadow play on stage. That's it felt like that, like those moments I was like, I'm watching a play right now. Like I'm watching a play. And so as it got brighter, I was like, I think on my first watch specifically, because I forgot he died actually. Like I forgot that's how it ended, which I think is what got me again this time. Was like I thought he ended up getting a little better, and then you're like, this guy or whatever, because I saw it in theaters and that was the only time I had seen it. And so the first time I remember thinking this while I was watching it the second time, that as it was getting brighter, I was like, oh shit, no, he's about to die.
Yeah. And so Dan is the pizza man. I was very confused by because he came and delivered pizza the first time, and he was like, "Hey, I'm delivering pizza," and through the door. And Charlie said, "Yeah, there's money in the mailbox. Just leave it, on the table out there." And he does. And then he comes back and he's like, "Hey, like I come all the time. My name's Dan. What's yours? I'm Charlie. Nice to meet you." Whatever. He leaves. And then I think comes back one more time, does the same thing. Asks, "Are you okay?" in the last interaction. He knocks on the door and he's like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, can I help you?" And Charlie obviously doesn't come to the door. He waits until Dan walks away. But when he goes to get his pizza, Dan is outside. And so I didn't catch, Dan didn't look disgusted to me. It was
shock. Like,
oh. It was shock. Yeah. On Wikipedia and like researching, it's like, oh, Dan looked at him with like shock and disgust. I didn't get disgust. I got shock, but I didn't see that Dan was like disgusted with him. And that's what kind of drove him into his binge eating episode.
Yeah.
And so, and all, like other things, but I think that also for me, that was also open to interpretation because it's coming from Charlie's perspective. So Charlie's probably used to people seeing him, looking disgusted and him feeling shame. And
Yeah.
maybe this guy who's been nice to him this entire movie was just like, oh, that's why I don't see you. Is you're, you know, you're a big
You're
dude.
obviously
And
very huge. Yeah.
yeah. So I thought that I didn't understand why that was a part of it, but I appreciate why, you know.
Yeah. And I think that's a really like layered um response to Dan's part of like, yeah, I don't think he was disgusted. I think he was just shocked because like I think that's a very human thing where like remember when you were a kid the first time you saw a certain kind of person, you're like, "Oh," or whatever. And it's not necessarily that you immediately go. I mean, I feel like adults have this all the time too. Like where it's just like, "Oh, this is a new human or a new maybe maybe a new disability, maybe a new way of having your hair, maybe like a new thing where it's just like, oh, I've never seen a human like that
Right.
before. I didn't know that this is a thing. And your brain has to process that because this is new material to go over, you know? But that doesn't mean that you immediately are like, this is wrong. This is bad. This is disgusting. It's like, whoa, this is so new,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I do think that that's kind of what Dan's brain was going through. The way I took all of that was Dan's face wasn't as communicative as it could have been, and so Charlie was able to fill in the
Mm-hmm.
blanks the way he's going to fill the blanks in,
Yeah.
you know, which is always worst case scenario. He hates me. He thinks I'm disgusting, and I think it was two things. I think like Dan's character and the way why it means something is because of two things. One, because of Charlie's at the end of the day. I think people are incapable of caring. People are awesome. Here's this guy who comes to this random apartment pretty much every day, maybe every other day, to deliver the same pizza where the money's in the same spot. The person doesn't come to the door, but he hears them or whatever. It's the same thing or whatever. And the the process of doing that over and over again has made this pizza guy care about the person inside
Yeah.
to the point where he'd be like, "Are you okay in there?" You
Yeah.
know, like, by the way, my name's Dan.
Mm-hmm.
What's your? Oh, my name's Charlie or whatever. Like they have a little cute moment where like they become friends. And like look at it through Charlie's perspective. Like the movie doesn't talk about it, but like Charlie doesn't have anybody coming to his home. He doesn't ever leave his house. He might not be able to leave his house
Mm-hmm.
because he's on the
He's on
second
the second
floor.
floor. Yeah.
Like, and so like this is at this point this guy who he's never seen the face of because he doesn't allow the guy to see his face or whatever is probably Charlie probably considers him somewhat like family because this guy comes by all the time, you know. So I think that that's one area of it, but also the second area of it is like the black screen on his class
Mm-hmm.
zooms where he like doesn't have his camera on. um that's like him hiding his guilt and shame from
Mm-hmm.
people. um like I guess that's like symbolism of hiding guilt and shame. And like, you know, like on days where I haven't done my hair or maybe on days where I'm not loving my body or something, like on, you know, on human days where we're not feeling the most secure, I might be camera off on the Zoom call or whatever.
Yeah.
They embody that through his daily active choice to do that in his classroom. And I think that's the same with the pizza man. And what the thing is though is the pizza man breached that boundary. He stayed,
Mm-hmm.
he saw, and and he could have been like, oh cool, whatever, bye or whatever. And I think Charlie still would have spiraled
Yeah.
because it wasn't about how you reacted. Charlie's reacting for you.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie's so freaked out the fact that you saw him and didn't say much and maybe didn't make the most communicative face back. He's going to go back and fill in the blanks or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So it was kind of a breach of trust, but I also think it is also to like emphasize Charlie's like one of Charlie's last
Yeah.
lines.
And also, Dan was the only person in Charlie's life at that point, other than his students, which I would argue that he didn't have a deep connection with any of his students, right? So Dan was the only person in his life that he feels he has a deep connection with, who has not seen him and hasn't given him that look that
Yeah,
everyone has given him, you know?
yeah,
Um, and so I think that Dan seeing him was not on his terms, and that led him to spiral.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. Brendan Fraser, first of all, The Mummy. Hello. That I think like the movie that we'll talk about next, Motocross, was like my first sort of like moment of like weird. I have these feelings for a girl, but The Mummy was definitely like a bioawakening for so many people. You can ask any queer person, and they would probably say The Mummy was my gay awakening.
I will
So Brendan
say
Fraser was it.
you might need to add The Mummy, maybe the whole Mummy series on your list. That
Yeah.
is an untapped series by me. I've never watched any of them.
You have never seen The Mummy, Shane?
So add it to your list.
It's going on my
I
list
will say
right now.
though, whenever he was George of the Jungle, I watched that as a kid, and
That
I
was
felt feelings. So Brandon Fraser, thank you for making a lot of people a part of the community.
yeah. Yeah, he has done a service for the queer community just by existing. So,
And then by playing Charlie, a
and by
gay male
playing,
character. Like
yeah,
okay. So this movie inspired me to lose so much weight.
yeah,
And like whenever I started losing weight, which I've lost like around 100 now, if not more, it was like a month, maybe not even a month, maybe like a week or two after watching this movie was the first appointment I had with my doctor who was able to get me on the right track. And it was because I was like, here's this gay male writer who's
hmm
overweight. And I was like, oh my gosh, or whatever. Like, like this is what all of like the bad stuff can evolve into. No, I did not think I was going to become that bad, but like I was like, like this is a good glimpse to like what unresolved things in my life can lead me to. And so it made me really think about life. Like this movie is life changing, literally for me.
yeah,
Like it was just such a beautiful movie.
yeah. And I mean, he even said in the movie, he's like, I've always been a big guy, but it's just
Mhm.
gotten out of control, ever
Yeah,
since Alan died. And I think it's so many, that's the case for so many people. It just
yeah.
gets out of control. Um, I follow a creator on Instagram who has lost like 200 pounds, I think.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and I'm spacing on his name. I'll find it. But um, he talks about how he would in the beginning he would go to McDonald's. He would get a hamburger and fries. But then one day he was like, I want a little bit more. So he would get a hamburger, fries, and a thing of nuggets. And that became his normal. And then he wanted a little bit more. So he got a hamburger and nuggets and fries and McChicken or whatever. And that became his normal. And so he was like, it's not like I just decided one day I'm just gonna eat all I can until I'm I think he was 300 pounds when he started his weight loss journey. And he was like, that was never my goal. It was just, I couldn't get my eating under control because I was like focusing on other things. I didn't think to focus on my mental health and my addiction to food.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's the biggest thing is when people see someone who is fat, they just think, oh, well, they just eat whatever they want. That's not always the case.
No.
Um, and especially like I don't want to take any spotlight off of you because first of all, snaps for you, losing 100 pounds is hard, and you fucking did that. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I've told you that so many times. Every time
Yes.
I
Yeah.
hug you, I'm like, you're so little. But I want to talk about like women because when women go to the doctor and they say, oh, I've been having severe cramps or I've been having body aches, I've been having headaches, I'm, I'm having these symptoms that I don't feel like is normal. And the first thing that doctors will say is, you should probably lose some weight.
Mhm.
I've experienced that. My wife has experienced that. Every woman that I've talked to has told me it's my weight. My weight is the reason that I'm having like cramps that shoot from my uterus to my toes.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. Um, and I think that the stigma starts at the medical side of things, and it's slowly starting to get to a point where people are recognizing obesity as a disease,
Mhm.
and we need to treat it as such. That's why GLP-1s were created. Well, they were created for diabetes, but they shifted into the weight loss industry because obesity is a disease and GLP-1s can be a treatment, you know.
Right. And there's
So,
no shame in taking any of those. Like
yeah.
that's I hear so many people try to shame people for taking that. And like it wasn't even GLP, it didn't start with GLP-1s. It started with like weight loss surgery and it started with Weight Watch. Like there's just so many things where like as a fat person, I can say like anytime we start trying to do the quote unquote right thing,
Mhm.
we get shamed for it. Like when my parents got the surgery specifically, like my mom got it first. Sorry, Chrissy, but like my mom got it first. She got shamed by so many people for it, and it was, why are you doing that? Why wouldn't you just do it the normal way? Like you don't have to do all that or whatever. It's I'm deciding to do it. Like this is my life or whatever. So like I've never understood the fact that like I've I've seen like people like post their after pics on social media and people in the comments are like, well, was it Ozempic or was it weight loss surgery? Who
Mhm.
gives a fuck? They lost it. They wanted to lose it and
Yeah.
they did. So that's all that matters. Like what does it matter what
Yeah.
route they took? It's just so weird. It's because people are just so ready to shame you for things, and it's because they're hiding their
Hmm.
own thing, and so they want to shame you
Yeah.
for yours.
Yeah.
It's people are awesome. People are incapable of not caring. People are awesome. People are
I
incapable of
know.
not caring.
Repetitive, repetitive, repetitive. It goes back to people are going to shame you if you're fat, and people are going to shame you if you're skinny, and people are going to
Yeah,
shame you if you were fat and became skinny because why would you do that? You were a
right.
fat person. So yeah, I could go on and on about this, but I do have some fun facts I want to share about the whale.
Ooh, okay.
So first of all, the cinematographer, you'll love this. His name is Matthew Libatique. I hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly. I Googled it, but I don't know if I Googled correctly.
Okay.
Um, he was also, so he's won 3 Academy Awards for Best Cinematography for Black Swan,
Oh
A Star
wow.
is Born, and Maestro. So I mean, he's a wonderful cinematographer. He's done so many projects. He's worked with Julie Dash, Tracy Chapman, who I'm obsessed with,
Hmm.
um, Spike Lee, Joel Schumacher, Jon Favreau for Iron Man 1 and 2, and Cowboys and Aliens, and then
Oh,
Bradley
wow.
Cooper for several projects. Um,
So
I
you
just
worked
wanted
with
to talk about him.
Aronofsky twice then, because
Yeah,
Black Swan is another Aronofsky.
yeah, yeah. So I just wanted to shout him out because he's a wonderful cinematographer.
Was
Um,
he? You know if he was nominated for best cinematography for The Whale?
I didn't read that. No, I didn't read that. I'm sure I could find it.
Okay, we'll update next week.
Yeah.
Because
Um,
where I'm going with that is this movie was shot very beautifully, in my opinion,
it
with,
was.
like it being like in a set, or like a set space, I guess. Uh, I thought it was really shot beautifully.
Yeah. As far as I can tell, he was not. But he's been nominated for so many awards. He was cinematographer on Requiem for a Dream in 2000.
Another Darren
So,
Aronofsky.
so he's wonderful. I just wanted to shout him out. He's also um, so he was born in Queens, but his parents were immigrants from the Philippines. So I love talking about people who uh, are immigrants and came to the U.S. for a better life and are um,
Slaying it.
slaying it because unfortunately not everybody appreciates immigrants and we need to do more of that.
Yeah.
Um, something that I read that just kind of blew my mind. This film was shot between March 8th and April 7th. So a month of shooting. And I feel like that is not a lot of time.
No.
Um, it makes sense because it's really only shot in one place, but I just wanted to talk about that for a second because that to me that just feels like amazing, right?
Yeah.
Um, so
It
the
makes
budget
me,
for this
I don't know
movie,
if for sure, but that makes me wonder if they shot each character's story in one segment. So like
yeah,
every scene Liz is in, she came in for like a week and filmed Liz, and then
right.
Thomas came in and Thomas, and any intersecting things would just be during that. That's probably how, I don't know. That's probably how I would have done
I know, I know.
that.
Yeah, or just like keep them all on set and like film it in succession, like as a play. Maybe not
Oh,
though. I
maybe
don't
not. I
have
don't know. I don't
yeah.
know.
Listen, I'm not a director. I don't know what they did.
You
Um,
could be.
I could be. The budget for this movie was $3 million. They grossed 57.6 million, which
And
is
that's on period right there.
that's on period.
That's on comma and
Uh,
000 comma 000.
have fun getting your bag, Brendan Fraser. um, At the premiere of the 79th Venice International Film Festival in September of 2022, it received a 6-minute standing ovation, and I'm not surprised by that at all.
Oh no, I'm not surprised by that either. They were probably all sobbing. Couldn't
Hmm.
move.
They had to stand because they were
Wow.
just gonna fall out. Um, so before Darren Aronofsky was going to make this movie, Tom Ford was going to direct, and James Corden was going to play Charlie.
I would have hated that. Like this,
Yeah,
we would not be talking about this movie at all.
yeah. I love
How
James Corden, but
absolutely,
not in this
I hate
world.
James Corden.
You hate James Corden. Okay, we
I
don't.
hate James Corden.
We don't talk about it. But so then the movie, Darren Aronofsky picked it up, wanted to direct it. He looked for the perfect actor for about a decade, and he saw the trailer for Journey to the End of the World or Journey to the End of the Universe, and decided that Fraser was the one that he wanted to play Charlie.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? That movie came out in 2006. Journey
Yeah.
to the End of the
You wouldn't think that the trailer for that movie specifically would scream, "That's my Academy Award winner right there."
Yes, yeah.
You know?
This is all from Wikipedia, by the way, so who knows if this is even real.
I
Um,
mean, I believe it. Like
I think for me, it's just hard to imagine that Brendan Fraser being Charlie, because that Brendan
right.
Fraser was like a few years after The Mummy, a few years after uh, George of the Jungle. Like he was still like hot Brendan Fraser.
Right. Right.
So it's interesting that
Yeah.
that and think of that, or like that was the deciding factor to make him play Charlie.
I'm so glad whatever happened to cause that not to come into fruition happened. And
Hmm.
then now we have what we have. Because I feel
Yeah.
like we could have gotten shit, but we didn't. Now we got gold.
um. Okay. So Brendan Fraser obviously is not 600 pounds in real life. He spent 4 hours a day being fitted with prosthetics that weighed up to 300 pounds. And he also worked with the Obesity Action Coalition and worked with a dance instructor for a month before filming to kind of feel how someone with like carrying that much weight should move. So he did a lot
Mhm.
of like method acting and training before being in this movie, which really shows because you, you can tell that he was uncomfortable. And I mean,
Yeah.
I if I didn't know that that was Brendan Fraser, I would have been like, yeah, that guy is like big in real life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that the whole movement part of it was just so beautiful in the way he
Mm-hmm.
moved. Because like I've been really big in my life before, and I've never really experienced movements that he had. But like there are some moments where I was like, oh, like I kind of like felt like maybe level 1 of that, where he's at level 10. Like,
Yeah.
or I know so many people in my life that are also overweight. Like we're all in the same band. And like I saw things that they struggle with, and like the way it looks from like me being the third party, the way it looks, he just captured it so beautifully and perfectly, and in a way that I would say isn't disrespectful
Yeah.
as well, but in a way that's true,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Um, I texted you last night and said I have a crazy fun fact. And I didn't share it with you last night because I wanted to wait until we were recording.
Oh, I've been
So
I've been like actually at the edge of my seat for this. Okay.
so I was researching last night and kind of writing up my notes for the episode today. And so this isn't the crazy fun fact, but it is a fun fact. So Sadie's little sister played young Sadie in the movie. So when you
Oh.
see like baby Sadie sitting at the table, that's her little sister. I think her name's Lacey. Um, so I all I saw was like Lacey Sink played Sadie Sink's younger counterpart. So I wanted to just make sure that was her sister before I very confidently said, yeah, her sister played her younger counterpart. So I'm googling Sadie Sink, and it turns out she was born and raised in Brenham, Texas.
What?
Now, for the listeners on the phone, my wife also was born and raised in Brenham, Texas. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, maybe she was born in Brenham and then she moved to Houston and then she started doing acting. And so maybe she's not actually from Brenham. She lived in Brenham until she was like 10 or 12. Her parents are teachers. Her dad is a coach. And I looked over at my wife and I was like, did you know that Sadie Sink is from Brenham, Texas? And she was like, oh, that's cool. And my wife's like so nonchalant, right? Remember, she's a Taurus. I said this in the last episode. She's such a Taurus. And she's just sitting there. She's like, that's cool. And I was like, I need you to research. Do you
Did you know Coach Sink?
So she did. Coach Sink was a coach in Brenham until about 2012, which is the year that she graduated. And she pulled up Casey Sink on Facebook, and they have mutual friends. And she was like, oh, yeah, it's Coach Sink. And just so nonchalant. Oh, yeah, I know him. And I remember like all of his kids like running around when they were little.
That's so crazy. This is blowing my mind. So I was going to say if she moved when she was 10 or 12 or whatever, then no. But I was going to say, so she was on that billboard where they're graduating and it has all the graduates on the billboard.
So she was homeschooled. She wouldn't have gone to school at that time. She was homeschooled until she was in second grade, I think. But yeah, they moved to New Jersey in 2012, and that's where they live now. But I was like, you just actually know Sadie Sink's dad as like a coach from your hometown. Like, that's crazy. I was having a huge spiral last night. Like, oh my God, I'm somehow
I would have never guessed.
That's crazy.
I would have never guessed. No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I'm like actually my mind is actually blown.
Yeah. I'm gonna message Sadie Sink and be like, oh my God, Brenham, Bluebell. Crazy.
So oh my God, billboard of graduates, right? Like, oh my God.
Do you remember my wife? Tell your dad we said hi. Anyway, those are the fun facts that I have because it totally blew my mind that was the connection between us and Sadie Sink.
Speaking of your wife, I want to know how far she made it into the movie.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, let's play this game. I think that we should play this game every episode because this is so
I think
fun.
we should too.
And like truth be told, Carly actually had this idea of like on the episode you should ask Shane when he thinks that she fell asleep. So
I love that.
Let's play the game.
Okay.
When do you think Carly fell asleep during the whale?
Okay. All right. Tell me if I'm warmer, if it's later in the movie, colder, if I need to go back towards the beginning.
Yeah.
I would say when Dan comes the first time, like the first pizza delivery.
Colder.
Oh my God, Carly. Did she make it to Thomas's entrance?
No.
The missionary? Carly. Carly Taremki.
So
okay.
I would say that we
make it through like the studios that made the movie, like at the very beginning.
Maybe a little. Maybe I think that might have been when she slowly closed her eyes.
She saw Darren Aronofsky and just she's like,
yeah.
I think this film was intended
to see. Yeah.
I think this film might be intended to see through the eyelids.
Yeah. She's like, you know what? This movie is a really good sleeping movie. When the movie was over, she woke up and the movie was like going through the credits. And she goes, I was like, hey, babe, it's time to go to bed. And she goes, but I'm watching the whale. It's like, the
You're
whale
like, the
watched
whale swam
me.
away.
So it was really sweet. She's just a tired girl. To be fair, we watched all of our movies at night. And as soon as it gets dark outside, her internal clock is like, bedtime.
Bedtime. Time to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So should we over to motocrossed?
Yes. That was a good transition.
Thank you. Thank you. I came up with it on the spot.
You're so talented.
Thank you. Improv. Okay. So should I set the floor for this motocross movie?
Yes.
Okay. So motocrossed is about a family who owns a motocross business or some sort of thing. And what they do is they try to like win competitions, I guess. I don't know. And they're so serious about it that they put a motocross track around their own home in their own yard that they pay for. And so we follow twins, Andy and Andy, one male, one female, and their little brother, whose name is Jason. I put
Jason.
Jason, little brother. So those are the kids, and then we have Geneva, the mom, and then we have Dickhead, the dad, also known as Richard, also known as Edward. Sorry, Richard is long for Dick. So, so movie starts, and Andy, male, is getting ready to do his big first competition. He's going to be the rookie of this competition, but him and dad are like practicing in the front lawn for it. And Andy comes home, the female one, with a humongous trophy from her cheerleading competition that she did. And Richard, aka Edward, aka Dad, did not give a fuck and said, "Andy, we're worrying about serious things. Can you go inside and put all the girls' shit away?" So then they go to family dinner and they pray, and it's all like Christian, happy family, where the dad is so not caring about any women in the family. Very, very, very traditional family. And then Andy, the twin, the male one, breaks his leg, and so dad's like, "Andy, girl, Andy, I know you can do some flips, tricks, and tunnels, and do the little shiblangs on the road, but you're a girl, so therefore I'm gonna have to go to Europe to find some random person I don't know to represent my family because you're a girl and you can't do this." So dad goes to Europe, and then Andy decides, you know what, Andy, the girl again, you know what? I'm going to chop all my hair off and become my brother. And that's what exactly she does. And she does such a great job that she made every single person in history that has viewed this movie a bisexual.
Facts.
Including me a little bit. There's some times where I was like, "You're a guy. Wait, what is going on?"
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm so confused. And that's just basically the premise of the movie. The rest of the movie, she meets this guy who's successful. He's in a league right above her, and they become friends or roommates. They don't really become roommates, but if this was a historical thing, they were roommates.
Mm-hmm.
They become real close, one could say, and they help each other out. She ends up winning, and meanwhile, dad has been in Europe the entire time, comes home with a French guy, which I have to say, old school American movie. We're pulling an asshole from Europe. He's got to be French.
Yeah.
That asshole from Europe equals French.
Yeah.
So, so he brings home this French asshole who is not very good, A, but B is just the biggest little charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent anyone's ever heard of. And he gets fired, and then dad's like, "Well, you know what? I'm firing him, and I think you're all of a sudden capable of racing this race, even though you and quite literally everybody else is telling me so. And then she does it, she wins, and then they're like, whoa, 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 that's a girl, and that's Andy. She's disqualified. And the mom was like, well, guess what? I read the fucking rule book. No, she's not. She put Andy with an I. She signed up legally. And then at the very end, we find out that the entire owner of everything is a woman. And so therefore she's like, you think we're not going to sign her? Like, are you kidding me? Like, if we, the audience, knew that the person that they were trying to like impress at the end of the day was a woman, I would have lost all like tension. I would have been like, oh, she's going to win, you know? Like,
yeah.
Okay. So that's the premise of the entire movie. If you've not seen Motocrossed 2001, so sorry about spoiling it for you. I will say, after my watch, I do think that this was a Disney movie that I did not watch.
Okay, so this was
I
like
think
your first time watching it.
I think this was the first time watching it. I think all of the memories I had of Motocrossed was the little promos of them flying on the bikes or whatever, and they're like, on Thursday, 7, 8 Central, you know? Like, I think that's all I saw of Motocrossed growing up.
Okay.
So this was a first watch.
Yeah. So what were your first like watching it? What was your first impression?
Okay. So I have but the soundtrack.
You want to know fun fact?
Yes.
Fun fact?
Yes.
So the song that plays when Dean, who is first of all, this movie is loosely based off of The 12th Night by William Shakespeare.
Loosely. We'll get into that. Very
loosely. So Dean is sort of the Duke of sort of the Duke of Orsino character in the movie, and he's like such a hottie, right? And he's got a crush on his boss's daughter, and Andy the girl is kind of like, you can't just like flip your hair and like hope to get that girl's attention. Like she likes the finer things and she doesn't care about motocross, you know. And so they decide, oh well, girl Andy is going to help Dean get the girl, and Dean is going to help Andy be a good motocross racer, even though she is already a good motocross racer. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Well,
so
she needed a man, Courtney. She needed a man.
She did. So the fun fact about it is, when they are out practicing in what seems to be a desert that also has a lake in it, I don't understand where they are. I don't think it was ever like clearly stated where they live, but it's like only desert and then like a very small stagnant body of water. So they're going out practicing, and the song that's playing is called "At the Top of the World" by the Juliana Theory. I love that song so much. We played it at our wedding.
Oh my goodness.
Because it's such a good song. And I think it was only made for this movie.
I love the fact that a song from Motocrossed graced your wedding.
It did. I remember it played and I was like,
Meanwhile, the most bisexual thing is happening on screen. So, okay. This movie was definitely a Disney Channel original movie from 2001 in terms of me watching it as a 29-year-old today for the first time. That being said, I do think it was a pretty good one. And I do think that like a lot of those Disney original movies were back then, it was standalone a good film still. Like it still had like, you know, a beginning and an end, like all the way to an end where like the characters had a fully fledged character arc, and like all of the side characters had their own stories, and it wasn't like cheap gimmicks it wasn't like so Gen Z and like all social media-esque and like panning to the younger crowd or whatever. It was just a kids movie, or it was a movie that kids could watch and was appropriate enough for kids to watch or whatever, which I would love to go back to that era where it was just a movie that it's appropriate enough for a kid to watch instead of it being legitimately made for a kid. Like that's the movies nowadays just don't have that same charm. Like I don't know. I could get in that. We could definitely get into that. But okay, so Dad was the most one-dimensional antagonist of any movie I've ever seen.
Mhm.
And to a point where I'm like, you are stupid, sir. Like you were dumb.
Yeah.
Like he has like this. He like okay. This is this girl's father. Like this Andy is this man's daughter, and he has to know her skill level. And being the manager and like being around motocrossing as much as his character is supposed to be believed to have been, you would think that he'd be like, I know my daughter, I know motocrossing. I want her to represent my family's business instead of my son who's injured because she's capable and she's a part of my family.
Mm-hmm.
And said, no, let's go get fucking Renee from France. Like that just makes zero sense. But like his character was only supposed to be the most infuriating part. Like that, I think that was like the director's like, you know what? Instead of him being like an anti-feminist, let's just piss him, make him piss everybody off every second that he's on screen.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Mom was a little anti-feminist too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning when you find out, oh, okay, actually she's going to switch teams and she's going to be on our team and she's going to be like really empowering or whatever. I think the fact that she crumbled the second Dad got there, she did fight back on him, but she did kind of say like, you know what? He is the decision maker. I guess we got to go home and let go of everything we've done. I'm going to sure guilt trip him about it, but that's what we have to do. What? No, woman, put your foot down and say, you've been in Europe. We've been here. Like I thought that her kind of crumbling towards the end made her lose a lot of the steam that she had been getting throughout the movie. Because, you know, her character does have a little bit of a 180 where you don't like her at first and then you kind of start loving her. Mm-hmm. And it's because she starts exploring her own interests and starts becoming more empowered to do her own things, feels appreciated by all the other people that are at the camp, like the ladies who come by to get their nails done. Yeah. And like all of her, like she becomes loved there and appreciated, which, whoa, you're not feeling that at home with your husband? What is this movie about? Like, yeah. And like, but as soon as he comes back, she just waves the white flag, and like I feel like that was like a little bit against the movie's messaging, in my opinion. But I mean, she does end up having, you know, him change his mind or whatever. But no, she's not the one that causes him to change his mind. It's the youngest son, isn't it?
I think so, because I think he says the dad is like, "Am I being a hypocrite?" And the kid is just like, I think the kid says, "I don't know what that means. If it's good, yes. If it's bad, no." I think he says something like that.
Yeah.
But I think he also says, I could be wrong. I honestly didn't rewatch this movie because I have seen it so many times and I wanted to hear it kind of from your perspective. But I think the kid says something along the lines of,
he does.
If Auntie wants to ride, like, why don't we just let her? You know, she's good. So why don't we just let her do it? Yeah.
Which, I mean, why didn't we do that to begin with? Is my question. And then I love, so this movie is very Mulan-esque, where it's like Shang / Dylan, Dean. I mean, Shang / Dean are completely head over heels in love with Mulan / Andy. Yeah. And Disney doesn't let you know that until the wig is taken off, you know, and it's like, oh, here, girl. No wonder. Okay, that's what those feelings were, actually. Yeah. You know what? This is a straight hetero movie. No.
Well, and you know what's funny is so for both of those movies, when the wig comes off or the hair comes down and all of a sudden it's a woman standing in front of you, they're angry. They're like, "You're a girl?"
Yeah, like, I told you things.
Yeah. I opened up to you.
I opened up to you. I built a connection. I built some romance with you. You know, that's what that means. And on that vein, though, like this is like Mrs. Doubtfire, where this movie and She's the Man and any other movie like this, these movies are acceptable and okay drag because they're not drag, you know.
Mhm.
To the average viewer watching these movies, they're not going to be like, oh, that was a drag movie, when it is. But it's okay because it's Robin Williams being Mrs. Doubtfire, and Robin Williams is funny, or it's uh, Alana Austin being Andy, and Alana
Mhm.
Austin is Alana Austin, you know, like, or it's Amanda Bynes being Sebastian. Like, there's just so many, and Viola, and like, there's just so many parts of this, like, of these movies that are, it's very drag, but like, to people who hate drag, they'll go watch these movies and think it's entertaining. And
Mhm.
like, so like, I just want to say, like, this movie is definitely an it's okay drag
Yeah.
movie. Um, okay, earlier you brought up that this movie is loosely based on 12th Night. And in fact, one of my fun facts for this movie is this movie was almost called the 12th lap because apparently there's that many laps in motocrossing and also 12th night, 12th lap.
Yeah.
This comparison makes me mad. I don't think it's 12th night at all.
Yeah.
Yes, you could say it's very similar. There's some similar things where there's a girl that looks like a boy and there's a little bit of a love triangle. But other than that, this movie is not 12th night.
Yeah.
Like, She's the Man is 12th night.
Right.
Like, not only are the characters actually literally named the same characters or whatever, but like it is the same structure where character A likes character B, who likes character C, who likes character A, who likes character D, who likes character B. Like, it's very, like, that follows the same structure as 12th Night, but 12th Night's also thematic elements of like disguising oneself and going into this area thinking that the other one is dead.
Mhm.
Because in 12th Night, Sebastian thinks Viola's dead and vice versa. And so whenever Viola is Sebastian, they keep coming and they're like, they have a very similar moment to Bottles in the where he's like, I thought you wanted the boots too. You know, like that is 12th Night.
Yeah.
The entire play. Basically.
Yeah.
And this movie just doesn't capture all of that. And like I think that like by making it a 12th Night movie, it takes away from like what motocross actually is,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
It
in my
does.
opinion. Like it's
Yeah.
not 12th Night. Like motocross is more about like empowering a woman,
Mhm.
really, more so than anything. Which 12th Night is too. It's empowering Viola, but like I don't know. This movie is I put this was not 12th Night, and I underlined it in all caps.
Right. Yeah. Because it wasn't, and even in the 12th Night, Viola doesn't pretend to be Sebastian. Viola pretends to be a totally made up character named Cesario. And she
Yeah.
only does it to, as far as I know, to like survive where she is.
To survive after her shipwreck, where she thinks
Yeah.
her brother and her family dies.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's like a very loose derivative of the 12th Night. But what's funny, and this may be one of your fun facts, this movie prompted She's the Man. So She's
Mhm.
the Man took a lot of those elements, like Viola pretending to be Sebastian instead of Viola pretending to be Cesario. Also, like setting it in a high school with teenagers, using a sport as like the catalyst for the plot.
Mhm.
And then like the trading of lessons, because Viola in the 12th Night never was like, I'll help you love this person if you teach me how to do something. You know, it was just like, I know that you're in love with Olivia, so I can help you there. But Olivia loves me. Like, it's like a weird like plot. But there's
But
no
I love
like trade.
you.
Yeah, there's no tradesies of like goods or whatever. So this kind of was the catalyst for She's the Man to use those elements too.
Right.
She's the Man is a great movie.
Yes. She's the Man's on my
But
list.
yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's not a direct adaptation of
Yeah.
the 12th Night at all.
And yes, and like that's not me saying there aren't elements of 12th Night in it. Like I mean the entire Dean liking the owner's daughter, and Andy having to help him do that when she's in love with Dean and he's in love with her. She's not in love with either one of them. She doesn't give a fuck about either one of them at all. Like that, like that's, I mean, even then that's not all 12th Night, but like, yeah, it's not 12th Night. It does take a lot of elements from it or whatever. But everything I saw about this movie, including the Owens movie description, was this is an adaptation of 12th Night.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's not. It's based on some of it, but no, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay. On to more notes though. This movie proves that all gay male couples look alike.
They were literally, Dean and Andy the girl were twins.
They were they became triplets when she shaved her head.
Yep.
Which, another thing though, like, she didn't wear a wig. She actually had to cut her hair, and that was very to her dismay. She did not like that decision, but that was her. I think that's what made her look so real, and like so passing, I guess is a good word. Like, is that was her actual hair. They made her cut it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But I mean, at the time, maybe they didn't have the best thing. Amanda Bynes definitely wore a wig, and Amanda Bynes never got that same veil of obscurity, I guess, and deception.
Yeah.
I think having a west-facing room is the most genius and brilliant thing I've ever heard. And thank you, Renee, for saying that. I think that's my new preference.
I love that this is one of your notes.
Like, to not have the sun wake me up every morning would be just the most absolute gorgeous thing in the entire world. Ugh. Brilliant. And from a Frenchman of all the things in the world, you know. Also, I have a fun fact about Renee. Renee is played by Michael Curio, who is not French, or maybe he's French descendant or whatever, but he has what seems like to be an American accent. He could be Canadian or whatever. I don't know, but not European, or at least not directly from Europe. And he is like Freddie Mercury level good at singing. Like, he's compared to Freddie Mercury and like Joan Jett. I think like they said that he's like the offspring of. And I looked him up, and he has like a really punk rock band.
Oh my gosh.
And he like has like makeup on. He wears like these really cool pieces. He's shredded. Like, he's a singer. And he's gay. He's married to a man.
Oh, I love that. Okay, wonderful. We're gonna have to attach his music in the show notes so people can go listen.
Oh, okay, that's a brilliant idea. I love that.
Thank you. I'm so smart.
You are. Also, I kind of felt like this entire movie was like kind of relatable to like the current job journey I'm going through. So for those of you that don't know, I've been auditioning jobs this year, just trying to find the right place or whatever. But I've recently been interviewing for like 2 really, really, really amazing restaurants. And the thing that I always bring into normal interviews is like all my references can back up that I'm usually a gold star on my team. Like, I'm really good at like, you know, locking into work. I'm always a top performer, like blah, 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 blah. But as I am interviewing for these restaurants, I'm seeing that that's not really important, because all of the people we've hired are gold stars of their restaurants or whatever. And with Andy, I think that came up where they're like, oh, are you like the best racer back home? She's like, yes, like I am or whatever. And they're like, well, good luck. Everybody here is the best racer from back home.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she really beats herself up at the beginning because she's getting last place or like close to last place or whatever. And she's like, wow, like I really thought that I had this. I really thought that I was good enough. And it's her mom, it's Dean, and it's her 2 brothers that are like, you are good enough. You need to believe it. Or like, you need to like not use, you need to believe it, but B, you need to like stop relying on who you are back home and thinking that's going to just carry you through everything. You need to start, you know, waking up and like trying here, because that's like, just because you're good, you're not applying yourself, you know. You don't have the right materials either. She'd had a busted bike. Somehow with the tools that Dean had and the parts that Dean had, you could like deck out your bike somehow. I don't know, but like she didn't have that, and then she also wasn't applying herself because she was just so relying on the fact that she's going back home.
Yeah.
And watching that, I was like, huh. And so like I even kind of brought motocross into the interviews I've been doing recently, where I'm like not relying on just that. I'm also relying on like what my actual interest is in my current applications of how I can apply myself to this job.
Yeah.
So thank you, motocross, for helping me in my interviews.
Thanks, motocross. Yeah, I think too, like they really emphasized too. So in the beginning, it was that she was a girl, so she could never race with boys. That's stupid.
Right. Right.
I kind of hate that they did make her lose because, and I am not a motocross racer. I've never ridden
What?
a motocross bike. Yeah, sorry, I lied.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I know that I look like a motocross racer. I am not one.
You smell like one too sometimes.
Yeah. So that's why it's surprising because I have all these features that just scream motocross and athlete and like
And you're
performer.
in reality not motocrossed at all.
Not at all. Yeah. But I feel like, and this might be controversial, might be a hot take. I feel like it doesn't take. It's obviously a hard sport. You have to practice. You have to work into it.
Yeah.
But it feels like it wouldn't matter whether it's a girl or a boy riding a bike.
Right. That part.
So like to compare, she's the man. So Viola is amazing as a female soccer player. She's one of the best on her team. You know, her boyfriend even says, "You're probably better than half the guys on my team," whatever. She goes then to play for a boys' team and is second string. That makes more sense because you've been playing on this sounds so controversial. They're going to literally cancel me for this. You've been playing on a girls'
Courtney's
team.
talking. Shane's not talking. If you don't know our voices yet, Courtney is talking.
But you've been playing on a girls' team for so long, and now you're playing against boys. It's a little bit more strenuous. Boys, toxic masculinity, they're going to like run themselves until they literally pass out because they don't want to be seen as weak. Whereas girls are probably going to listen to their bodies a little bit more. It's a little bit more like
awareness,
intuitive. Yes.
Yeah.
And so it makes more sense going from a female soccer team to a male soccer team that you're not the best on that team. It doesn't really make sense for motocross racing.
Right. Because it'd be like, you can't play chess with me because you're a woman, and the way you pick up the king, I don't know if you can pick up the king piece as well as I can because my hand has more strength in it. And I don't know if you're going to be able to move the king to e5 as fast as me.
Yeah.
So therefore, you need to play in the girls' league.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, yeah, you can't play tackle football with us because we will knock your head off.
Right.
Just by playing.
It just feels a little weird.
Yeah. But thank
So
God she had her dad to give us all the information and clarity we needed on the why she couldn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank God she got those new boots because I think it was the boots that made her.
It was the new
the new
boots, and it was one of Dean's rocket wrenches or whatever they're called. Thank God he had that because he could have on her bike, and then now she's going fast.
Now she's going super fast. It's probably the green nail polish, by the way.
It was all the green nail. I love that caught on to everybody too.
Yeah, I love that became a trend. Like, and Dean even said, like, as soon as you start winning, everyone's going to be painting their nails, and then they were, and that kind of highlights how fragile the male ego is.
Yeah, literally.
I have
a little more fun.
You go ahead.
So, first fun fact of the last two, Riley Smith, who played Dean, said that this movie gave him a super deep perspective on misogyny, because of how closely related the movie's narrative is to misogyny somehow, maybe through the dad's character or something. But he said it's something that he thinks about often, and he adjusted the way he treats everybody on film sets or whatever, but specifically how he treats women. And like, not that he was saying that he treated women before this movie and then all of a sudden now he treats them well. He just understands more, I guess. Like, he has like a better understanding of the perspective women have in the workplace, and so he treats them accordingly, and then also like looks out for any signs. So thank you, Motocrossed, for saving one man at least. And then the second fun fact is, so again, Riley Smith, the guy who played Dean, and Scott Terra, the little brother who played Jason, they were both in Eight-Legged Freaks, the
Oh,
movie.
okay. I didn't know that. I haven't seen Eight-Legged Freaks. Is it on your list?
Nope,
Okay, good.
it's
Keep it
not.
that way.
I've actually never seen it, so
Keep it that way.
that maybe can. Okay. Oh, okay.
I do not want to watch that movie. Like, not even a little bit. There's nothing in my body that, if you said right now, I'm going to make you watch Eight-Legged Freaks, I would be like, sorry, 8 followers, we're never doing this podcast ever again.
So no arachnophobia either.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Arachnophobia is a good movie.
I'm sure it is.
There's one part specifically that I'm thinking of right now that would terrify you so bad.
Mm.
And I can see it in my brain because it terrified me when I was a kid when I saw arachnophobia. You would hate it. It involves
Okay,
lamps.
it involves what?
Lamps.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
There was a side note about arachnids. There was a show that used to play at like my grandparents' house, and I can't remember. It felt like Unsolved Mysteries, but it wasn't on Unsolved Mysteries. Um, there was a story about a woman who had a beehive hairstyle, and
Oh.
she wore it every single day. Never took it out. I guess never washed her hair. And in the mornings, she would just like fresh it up and hairspray it, and wouldn't like take it down and brush it out. Like, I don't know. I think I was like 6 when I first saw this, so I may have been missing
But this
things.
is a movie?
This was like it was like a reenactment of a story.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It felt like Unsolved Mysteries because it was like filmed that way.
Yeah.
But so she had this like beehive hairstyle that she never brushed or washed, apparently. And one day she like went into the bathroom and she was fixing it and hairspraying it, and then she saw like movement in her hair, and it turns out that a spider had crawled in there and had babies, and they were everywhere in her hair.
Oh.
So ever since then, it was so good. Like, I won't, if a spider's in my house, I'll just take it outside. I won't kill it, but I don't want it in my house, you know?
Yeah. I I'm still on this lady with the hair. Like, how did her hair survive not ever being treated? A.
I
B. How did them little suckers not just go in brain first on her and just have a full on buffet?
I'm
That's
about to
scary to me.
I'm literally Googling it right now. Hold on.
And then also, yeah, no. I whenever I see spiders in my home, I let them be because I'd rather the spider than any other bug. And you're gonna kill them, so they're like my little cats. I just let them be in their little corner.
Okay, so is this the story? Let's see. Yes. So 18-year-old Mary Sue was one of the stylish young women who would always do her hair. Um, it says, being your stereotypical broke college student living on her own for the first time, she could only afford the salon every 3 months. So she took the advice of some girlfriends, and after getting her hair done, she would douse it in hairspray every morning and wrap it up in toilet paper every night. Mary Sue even exclusively slept on her back to keep her beehive intact for as long as possible. Soon her hair was like a helmet slathered in hardened styling products. And then it says, maybe 2 months after a trip to the salon, she started to notice weird red markings when she woke up in the morning. I didn't know about this part. At first, she thought nothing of it, but after a few days of finding more and more swollen red marks, she went to the doctor. He informed her that they were spider bites and that her apartment must be infested. She was able to get her landlord to foot the bill for an exterminator since he didn't want other apartments in the building to become a haven for arachnids. After her apartment was sprayed, Mary Sue enjoyed a peaceful night of sleep. That is, until she woke up to find webs in every corner of her apartment. Furious, she reported it to the landlord, who then cursed out the exterminator until he came back to the apartment to respray. Again, Mary Sue drifted off to sleep that night in a theoretically spider-free apartment. The exterminator did promise he used enough spray to kill any living thing in that place. But when she awoke, to her horror, she found a trail of webs leading from where her head rested in the pillow onto the nightstand, lamp, headboard, etc. She immediately jumped up to inspect where they were coming from. She ripped apart her pillow, thinking it must be the likely culprit, but she found no spiders. Confused and still half asleep, she walked into her bathroom to survey any new bites. As she looked in the mirror, she not only saw spider bites all over her face, but then she spotted one lone spider climbing up a web back into her hair. In a panic, she grabbed kitchen scissors and began to hack at her stiff, teased out locks, only to discover
That's
hundreds
not
of
going to do
spiders.
anything. It's just going to make them mad. Put your hair under running water for the first time in your life.
Only to discover hundreds of spiders roaming around in her hair, having laid what looked like thousands of egg sacs. Mary Sue was committed to a mental institution soon after,
Good.
where she always kept her head shaved.
I wonder what got her to the mental institution. Not taking care of her hair that way, or the trauma from the spiders being
I
in
think
her hair.
both, yeah. It says, let this be a reminder, vanity can kill. Dun, dun.
Let this be a reminder. Head and Shoulders shampoo and conditioner. You know,
Please just do anything, girl, because why?
why would you do that? Ugh.
Crazy. Anyway, that was a fun little detour we took. Did you know that Geneva, Andy's mom, was Miss Florida in 1975, and she was the third runner-up in Miss
Wow.
USA.
I believe it. She was beautiful. She was a
She's
very
beautiful.
beautiful woman.
hmm
She's in a lot of Hallmark movies now, or like Christmas movies.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the mom in I should have written this down because I knew I was
Dawson's
going to
Creek.
want to say it. The what?
Dawson's Creek.
Yes. Yep. She was. Also, they had professional motocross racers that appeared in the show. So Jeremy McGrath, Travis Pastrana, Stephen Lamson, and Sean Collier. They were all. Some of them were like the boys that when Andy went to go ride before she cut her hair, they were there like riding and like making fun of her.
Yeah.
Lame.
Oh, girl. You know.
Yeah, like look at that. That's great. I think they even said something like, check that out. Why is that so weird? But then like throughout the racing of it all, they also appeared. And motocross was referenced in season 4 of The Bear as an
Wow.
ideal Disney Channel original movie with a romantic subplot. Okie doke.
Everyone on the planet aside from Disney is like, this is a gay movie.
Literally. Also, Motocrossed is the 26th DCOM, Disney Channel original movie.
It's the 26th? Oh, wow. Wow, they were doing it for a while then.
I know.
I would have said it was one of the first.
Disney Channel original movies were my jam. I used to love, they would play something so good on Friday nights, and they, like you said, it would be like, coming up next on Disney Channel, and then it would be like, and following Motocrossed at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Central. And that would just be the highlight of my life.
Yeah. And then like they would always open with that montage of like the films going into the little Disney heads, but like all the films were like liquid water and people like pop out of them. And, like, I wanted to be like when I was like, when I get old enough, I would love to be there wherever they are.
I know.
Thinking that it's a real place, you know.
Yeah. I wanted to be one of those kids like doing the splits in the air, like jumping up and just being like
and then something like Smart House would come on, or something like Motocrossed, or like, and you would just be taken away to this world where you learn something, where you like see maybe a character from a show that you like in it, or like it was its own little universe.
Yeah.
And like they would give you like these movies that like not only were entertaining, had good stories, had good characters, had all this, but like you would learn something from each of them.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about Disney Channel when I was growing up. Was like when I finally caught on that every single episode from like That's So Raven, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, blah 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 blah. All of them were trying to teach me something. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, wait, how did I not know that? But B, I like that. That's
Yeah.
cool. You know?
Yeah. All of the Disney Channel original movies for me felt so grown up for us when we were kids. Like we felt like we were watching like oh, like we're big kids, like we're watching this movie that isn't like Dora the Explorer where it's like, can you find
Right.
backpack? Like it was a totally different level, even though I think I mean in 2001 I was young, you know. I'm not gonna
13.
explain my age. Excuse me. Excuse me. No. No. I think I was like 8, maybe 7 or 8 in 2001. But it was kind of a moment where it was like, oh, like I'm watching a movie. First of
Yeah.
all, I'm watching a movie and it's not like strictly educational. You know, it's more entertainment. And that's what that era of Disney Channel original movies were. It was just entertainment.
Yeah. Like, and that's, I remember saying that a while ago, I think to my brother. And when I say a while ago, I mean like when I was like 10 or 11. Like I was like, I miss when commercials in movies were just for entertainment. And then he was like, well, what do you mean? And I was like, I remember when I was a kid, like there was like commercials that weren't trying to sell me something, and there were movies that were just strictly entertaining. And I remember us getting into like a very brotherly argument and debate about it. And then I think that was the only time we ever talked about it. And this is probably one that he doesn't even remember, but like I always remembered that as like what was I talking about? Like commercials have always been trying to sell me something. Like movies always have some sort of like hidden meaning in it or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I think what I was remembering was old Disney Channel, where like, or maybe even old Nickelodeon too, where some of the commercials were like little 15-minute or like 5-minute little shorts, or whatever. And then like all the movies like were there just like entertain us kids or whatever. A lot of them have meanings or whatever, but like I was just like, it used to be so simple back then, and I think that's what I was remembering was just like the way Disney Channel and Nickelodeon were structured at that time for just kids or whatever. And like what you're saying, really, when those Disney Channel original movies felt on, I was like, oh, this is very adult. You know, like I feel like I'm an adult or whatever because we're watching a movie for kids, but like maybe a movie for kids that are 8 to 15.
Right.
You know, and like we're 6 or 7 or whatever. And so it's like, oh, like this is what high school is like. We're watching grown-ups who are in high school, you know, like, and, you know, thinking like, oh, that's what the future is or whatever. And it was very like formative for kids at the, you know, and like a lot of it was actually good messaging. Like I think one of the best episodes from anything I ever watched growing up was the That's So Raven episode where her and Chelsea try to get hired at a clothing store and the manager's like, I don't hire black people. And that was, I mean, I had heard about like Martin Luther King and like all the civil rights movement stuff by that time, but I think by that time I was in 1st or 2nd grade. So I didn't really understand it. And especially as being a little white kid, I definitely didn't understand it. I just knew something like that had happened. And I think it was that episode that really taught me what racism is. And what a powerful thing from just a Disney Channel show to teach a little white kid in a small town that isn't really like, I wasn't like a part of racist or anything like that, but like I wasn't like, that wasn't something I was being like taught at this Disney at the dinner table of like, this is what this is, this happens in the world or whatever. I saw that, and like that, I think that was very formative to me growing up, just that one alone, because I saw that it was bad, I saw how it could affect people, and I saw that it was a real thing, and I saw just all the different things that could happen from it. And that happens today. Like, so like I really miss old Disney Channel, and Motocross is a part of that, I think.
I think it's interesting to look back on like those formative years, because I mean that so there's so many episodes of shows that take me back to the time where I learned that became like ingrained in who I am and my morals and values. So like Lizzie McGuire, there was an episode where Miranda was like not eating. She was developing signs of this of an eating disorder. Um, and that kind of taught me like, you know, like body image. You know, she
Yeah.
was so big and she was like, I have like six chins and she was so thin. Um,
Mm.
so like that taught me that. There was a show and I don't remember. Oh, I think it was Boy Meets World. Boy Meets World really hit hard because they talked about
Yes, it did. Everything.
alcoholism. They talked about, like marriage and getting people pregnant. There
Yeah,
was
that
an
was.
episode.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you. I'm only emphasizing what you're saying, and
Yeah,
then you can continue. That show, Boy Meets World, and Life with Derek. If you ever watched Life with Derek,
yeah,
both of those were like very like older kid stories and older
hmm,
kid like discussions,
yeah,
and I feel like they had definitely a very important place on Disney Channel shows. So
yes,
sorry, continue with what you're saying.
yeah. Like they just the stories they told, the themes that they followed. I think that they knew that they had a platform to sway kids, and it didn't feel religious. Like there were some shows where it was like, okay, we're gonna pray, and then we're gonna talk about how it's bad to drink alcohol. It was more like, hey, like you have. That was my life. Um, it was like, hey, Sean, like you're really struggling, and I've been noticing that you've been drinking alcohol. Like, what's been going on? And it's like talking about the roots of it all. Sean joined a cult in one episode, like there was so much. I think Sean had like a close friend or girlfriend, and her dad was like abusing her.
Mm,
They had such dark themes, but I think we had to see those growing
yeah,
up, you
yeah.
know, because we were so sheltered with what we saw before. Um, and so like movies like Motocrossed, um, it shows that like, yeah, like girls can do whatever they put their mind to, but it also shows that you're gonna see adversity. People are going to be totally against you based on your gender. It has nothing to do with how good you are at that sport. It has nothing to do with how good of a person you are. It has everything to do with your gender. And now we're seeing those themes in like in transgender people or
Mm,
non-binary people. It has nothing to do with who they are or what they contribute to society. They're just being hated upon because of their gender or their lack of gender.
right,
And
right.
I think it's really important. I think that's why like people of our age can look at others and say like, I don't really care what you're doing. Like I don't care what your pronouns are, who you like, how you identify, or what name you want to go by. I just want to know that you're going to be a good person because that's all that mattered in these Disney Channel original movies.
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
Couldn't I said it better myself, baby. And like that's
These-
I didn't have it written down because I knew we were going to get to it a little bit, but like I felt like a lot of the things and the themes from Motocross really talk about like trans experience today
mhm,
and like how I guess how one's spirit feels, whereas one's exterior doesn't match that. And then as soon as she was able to become her brother, she finds her own success because she's kind of showcasing who she really is on the inside, which in this movie's perspective is a boy, because only boys are good at this and only boys care about this. But she loves this and she cares about this. And so the only way she's able to really do that is to become a man or whatever. But through the adversity, like you're talking about, and through all of the like people just being like, what? Like you're a girl. or you dressed up as a boy, or this, that, this, that, this, that. It I think has a really good showcase of the trans experience today.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And I think that I was looking on Reddit for information on motocross because there's not a lot of like behind the scenes or anything on motocross, which Disney Channel original movies don't have a lot of background to them or like
Right.
research to read. But I was on Reddit, and there were so many people, specifically in LGBTQ like message boards, where trans people were saying this was the first time that I saw a girl turning into a boy and being happier for it. And so
Yeah.
that kind of pushed me to do my own research on that and like reflect and you know try to build upon that, because I felt like maybe I don't feel best in this body that I was born in.
Mm.
And then in turn, like I mean, you said it, this movie was a queer awakening for a lot of people. And I think it was because, so Andy, the brother, was hot. Andy, the sister, was hot. Dean was hot. The bitchy daughter of the boss was hot. And Renee was hot, even though he was an asshole. Um, there were so many like hot people in this movie that it was like whatever your preference was, you had kind of your pick. And then Andy, something in my chemical structure completely changed when I saw girl Andy enter the bike shop in the backwards hat, and her hair was cut, she's got sunglasses on, and she's wearing like a yellow hoodie and kind of deep in her voice. Something
She
changed.
looks a lot alike with people that we used to hang out with.
That, that
All
part.
lesbians, by the way.
But something chemically was altered for me. Um, because I don't think that, like me as a kid, I don't think I thought, oh, I like that girl. I think in my head, I was like, I like that boy
Yeah.
who happens to be a girl. Like there was just some, and I'm not saying that motocross like ruined kids. Like if you're thinking that motocross is turning people gay, you're
You're
right,
right.
but you're wrong. Like get off of our podcast if you're going to be crazy. But like I would have been gay regardless. This just kind of sped up the process for me. I think it like
Yeah, that's the thing. You said it right there. Nothing ever makes anybody gay, but there's so many things out there that makes people realize that they're
yes,
gay.
yeah, it's the awakening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sabrina Carpenter said it best. She never got her gay awakening, which is extremely unfortunate for her. I hope that it comes eventually. But this motocross was mine,
It was yours.
and
Yeah.
and it was very confused. Like I wanted Andy as her brother to kiss Dean so bad, and I like there was just something in me that was like, they just have so much chemistry. And then when it was revealed that she was a girl, and Dean was like, what the heck? It was like, you
You're
want
like,
him to be a
wait,
brother?
don't worry. Her brother is real. Y'all can kiss.
Y'all can kiss? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The brother is cute too. He's almost identical. They're literally twins. Yeah, it was a good one.
All right. Any other additional thoughts on motocross?
No, I did write down, I know that you will disagree with this, but I did write down that Geneva is a baddie because she was supportive of Andy the girl. She straight up asked Andy. She was like, "Hey, do you want to do this because you feel bad about what happened to your brother?" Because it was kind of Andy the girl's fault that he got hurt.
Yeah.
Um, so Geneva said, do you want to do this because you feel bad for Andy getting hurt, or do you want to do this because you really want to race? And Andy was like, I want to do this because I love this and I know that I can win. And Geneva was like, all right, get in the truck. And that is the most supportive, like, mom type that we need more of in this world.
Yes. I don't disagree with you. Like it was just, I think it was just the fact that when dad came back,
She
She
folded.
she folded, even though she wasn't very happy about it, she still folded. Like, I
Mhm.
feel like she could have put up more of a fight, especially with everything the movie brought her up to, including this. Like, all of the action she had had throughout the movie. Dad comes back. I feel like that was her reckoning. That was the moment she should be like, you know what? You've been gone. We've been succeeding here without
Mhm.
you. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like she could have put more of a fight, in the fact that she didn't made everything that she had done so far kind of like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that she didn't do any of those things. Like, I think that she was a very great and supportive mom for like 95% of the movie. I think it was
Yeah.
just the very beginning, and when Dad came back, she did make the best decisions.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Good movies.
Great
Good choice.
movies. I've been looking at the clock here recently, like a little therapist. These movies took a lot of time. Like, they were some thick movies, which is why I'm saying, like, them being at the same time as each other was kind of
Mhm.
magical.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Okay, what are
Okay.
we thinking about for next week? I've been trying to pick one in the past 10 minutes, and I'm really having trouble.
I know.
Because the past two
Um,
movies I described to you have been just absolutely soul-wrecking. So I want to switch it up a little bit. Ooh, I just actually saw one that might be good. Um, and I don't want to go back to horror quite yet, but I also don't want to just wreck your soul,
let's see.
which I feel like that's the majority of my list. It's either it's going to wreck your soul, and or it's gonna be scary. Okay, I think I have mine.
All of mine are kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie.
You haven't
That
given me a sad one yet.
okay. Okay. So you're saying to wreck your soul. I got you.
I'm saying
Um,
do whatever you need to do to me. Do whatever in your heart's desire you want to do to me. Just please do it to me.
wink, wink. Auga. Okay. Um, I'm struggling between two, so tell me yours and maybe that'll sway my decision.
All right, maybe we should play a game.
Okay.
Say, wait, say A, B, or C.
See.
All right, I am giving you Shiva Baby.
Shiva baby.
Shiva Baby.
SHIVA baby.
Mm-hmm. 2 words.
Okay. That didn't sway me at all. Okay. I think I am going to give you my girl.
My girl. Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Have you ever
I
seen my girl?
A long time ago. A
Okay.
long time ago. I've Now that I'm looking at the cover, I'm remembering some parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be sad.
Yes.
Oh, this is going to be sad.
Yes, it
At
is.
least Jamie Lee Curtis is in it.
I love her in this movie. She's so good. I've never seen Shiva
um,
Baby, so I have no idea what it's going to be.
it is a it's a comedy, it's a dramedy. Um, it's not very sad, but it is. Do you know what a Shiva is?
Maybe.
So a Shiva is like a wake. Um, so like she's like at somebody's wake, and she's just like the worst person ever. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time either, but it's a good comedy. Do you know who Rachel Snow is?
I'm looking at her right now. Yeah.
She's in a lot of like really good like recent comedies. But
Hmm.
this is like kind of like one of her more like breakout films. I would say, in my opinion, or I guess my perspective of her. Um, uh, did you see Bodies, Bodies, Bodies?
I did. Oh, yeah, she's in it. Yeah.
She was in that. She was the lead in Bottoms too. Did you by chance see? It was either a Vine or a TikTok from a long time ago. It was like either one of the first TikToks or one of the last Vines, where she's like, "It's LA," and then like she'd do a spin. She goes, "If you don't have an eating disorder, get one, bitch. It's LA," and like she like would keep spinning around. If you have, it's her.
Okay.
She was the one who did that. Um, but Shiva Baby is kind of just like a sleeper hit. Like I didn't hear a lot of people talk about it. Really, the only person that I know who knows about it is Luke. Um, but it's a good movie. It's a little gay. It has a really great cast. Diana Argan's in it.
Mm.
It's a really good movie. I think you'll like it. It's not gonna depress you, and it's not gonna scare you.
Okay, that's good because my girl will depress us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so curious to know what B was for you, and I wish were able to know what A and B were for me as well.
I
But
know. I feel like maybe at one
we'll
point
find out.
we should do a poll where we post like what should we watch next and give like options and have people vote. So I think that would be fun.
Oh yeah, nice. Like post options from our list or post our whole list and have everybody
Probably
vote
just
for.
options. Yeah, like we would give like three of ours off of our list, like three each, and just say like what should we review next.
Okay. And I'll challenge our audience right now, actually. If you made it all the way through this episode and you're still listening, comment a movie that you'd like us to talk about. And if we haven't both seen it, we will feature that as one of our stories. But if either one of us have seen it, we'll talk about it on the next episode.
Yep, we'll do. We don't have like a sign off or anything yet. I feel like we should make one.
I think we should make one too.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I'm thinking like the first thing that comes to my head is um, Blue Skidoo Weekend 2, but that's taken.
Oh, yeah. I don't taken by who, I don't know, but they should keep it.
It's from Blue Skidoos. Am I that old?
See, okay, no, because you're only 3 years older than me. But
Mm.
Blue's Clues, I watched that so much growing up, but the only thing I remember is Blue, the cute man in the green shirt, and like the really oversized crayons
Mm.
in the mailbox. Couldn't tell you what the show's about though. I know they're trying to find something with the clues.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those clues lead somewhere.
Not the clues. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being queer. What did you say in the last episode? I said bye, and you said, "I'm so proud of you for being bi."
That's one of my favorite bits with people. Anytime they say bye, I always like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you."
So good.
Well, I'm so proud of you for being bi. Good night.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being queer.
And if you watch either one of these movies, I hope you get depressed. I don't know. Let's just cut it. Cut.